Hi, welcome to another process video using some of the confessions of a Paper Addict cut files. Today I'm going to be using the cut file called Messy Stars 2, which you can see here, some gorgeous circles and some stars sort of tied in between it. I'm going to use this with the Stars and Sparklers collection from Close to My Heart. And while this is very sort of, is it 4th of July, kind of Independence Day stuff, I'm going to show how it can be used for sort of an everyday layout using celebrating my son's sort of turning 18 birthday. So there's a few different papers here that could be more generic than just Independence Day type celebrations. So, love this distressed stars that I'm going to use as the background. I'm just having a look at the other papers that I might pull in, and I'm going to use this sort of pretty blue one here for behind some stars. I've got some holographic paper, some white glitter paper, and some silver glitter paper or cardstock. Actually, it's quite thick, and I'm deciding whether I'm going to sort of frame it with some black cardstock or some white daisy cardstock. And I do decide to go for the black in the end. Now, please excuse the noise of the excited chicken in my backyard. She's obviously just laid an egg. I have just drawn a circle on the back of this patterned paper, and then I have randomly gone around it with my sewing machine just to add another layer of interest in behind where I'm going to stick this cut file. So you can sort of see the circles of stitching there. Now, I should have trimmed this down beforehand, but now I'm just going to go around and take 1/2 inch off each of the edges so that the cardstock that I'm going to put this onto will show through. So I have selected the black, and now I am going to attach or distress the edges of this before I attach it to the black cardstock. So just using my edge distresser, holding the paper tight so it doesn't tear too much down, but I'm not taking my time at doing that. It's not a precise science. So I'm now going to attach that to the cardstock. And I want to sort of arrange it so that there's an even frame all around it before I then work on matting or backing the stars on this cut file. So you can see the stitching a little bit when you look at it up close, but you possibly can't see it in the video. So I'm now trimming down the photo that I have printed on my selfie of my son. It was taken the night before his 18th birthday, and just the chilled out nature, sitting watching TV with the cat on his knee. So I am pulling out the papers that I've chosen to back this the stars, and I sort of want this bright blue to be the central star. Taking off the back thing because I don't want to get glue and stuff on it, and I'm just going to glue these down after I've selected the papers one at a time, because I want to give the glue a little bit of a chance to dry before I start cutting around it. I like the liquid glue here because it gives it's got a little bit of forgiving nature. It moves, and if you've got one of those old, well, not old, if you've got an eraser type thing, you can erase any of the glue that gets left on top. So I've now backed them with a mixture of the glitter cardstocks, that blue paper from the Stars and Sparklers collection, as well as the little star down the left there is some holographic paper. So when you sort of twist it around, it shines and picks up the colours next to it. So putting the lid back on there so it doesn't dry out, I'm just going to use this glue here to attach the cut file in general. I'd had the liquid glass out because I needed to use it with the glitter cardstock because it's quite heavy, and because of the different textures of it, it sort of needed a little bit more strength in behind it to stick it down. So I'm going to be tucking the photo in here in behind those bigger stars, and I'm just working out how to mat the photograph to help it stand out, but at the same time keeping it as part of the page. So I've used this sort of kind of very party-ish kind of paper, as well as a little bit of floral. Who said boys can't have flowers, even if you can hardly see them and they're just tucking out behind the photograph. So cutting around that, And then I decide that I thought about using this just the blue, and I do use it, but then I use some of the silver cardstock as well behind the photograph, and just love how it brings out the real sparkling nature of this page. So I've stuck that down there. Going to cut around there, giving it a nice wide border. And I'm going to sort of rough up the edges of each of these layers just to lift them up, give them a bit of texture and dimension. And I like to do this without using the sort of the double-sided foam tape on every single layer. I do like my pages to be able to fit into an album. For some people that's not an issue, that's fine. But I like a little bit of flatness, but I like the appearance of depth and texture. So I've just gone around and sort of distressed the edge of each of these papers, tucking them in, pulling them out, and just sort of helping them to sit on the page with that beautiful silver border around the outside. Now my ATG is now empty, so I am going on to whatever adhesive I had to hand. So I'm just using this liquid adhesive here. I will have to fill that up. I still need to watch the video or look at the diagram each time I go to refill those, but I just love how long it lasts. So now we've got sort of the bones of the layout sitting here, and I am looking at the sticker collection from Stars and Sparklers, and I decide I want to use this Oh Happy Day kind of thing. In some ways it was a bittersweet day when my son turned 18. He's my youngest, and I now I can't actually say that I have any children because they're all legally adults. So I am now a mum of adults, which seems really old, but anyway, it's kind of exciting at the same time. He still lives at home, and so does my oldest daughter, who will be turning 21 this year. So it's nice to still have them both at home. Our middle daughter is up in the North Island. She was up there studying last year, and she enjoyed where she was living and has stayed on this year. So I'm going to use some of these white foam alpha, and I'm just doing 18, which is his age, and that's kind of the title, even though the Oh Happy Day kind of looks like it. 18 was my idea for this title, and I ummed and ahed about using the sort of the leaves here with it, but I felt that the circular and sort of rough nature of it fitted okay with the Messy Stars II cut file. And so I've tucked that in there, and I'm going to just add my journaling onto it. And I have added that bit in there and just decided I needed to finish all of that off and add a few more details. And so now I've got it together, but I'm going to pull out some of the stars from the sticker sheet, again just echoing the stars in this cut file, but love that they are still the feature in a way of the embellishments and what I've used on this page. And I definitely would recommend using some of the glittery cardstocks and things to back the stars, just because it gives you that real that kind of sparkly stars in space kind of look. But pulled out a lot of different stars off the sticker sheet. Hope I don't need stars for anything else, because there's now none left. And I think I'm almost finished, but I decide that it needs just a little bit of something else. And so I dive into sort of my embellishment pot after drawing a bit of a line around the outside edge. And this did really help define it from the black cardstock. It just adds a nice touch, subtle touch to the page. And now I am going to add some little sparkly gems. So I'm just going to put these at random points, sort of structured random around the page. And when you look at this, the glittery elements just pull out all over the place from it. And it's, as much as it's sort of meant to be a semi-masculine page, it's got that really cute, youthful, shiny, excited feel to it. So just working out where to place these to finish that off. Lots of sparkle. So here's just some close-ups to finish off, showing this beautiful Confessions of a Cut File Messy Stars 2 in action. And you can see some of the stitching there as you look through it, and the stickers. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next month with another design from Confessions of a Paper Addict.